Hello, beautiful people. How is everyone doing today? May all of you be doing well. Happy fall. It's a new season, and you know what that means. New intentions, new opportunities, and just overall the ability to get to know yourself a little more. And so with that being said, I have been MIA with my videos. And it's because I have had so many things I've been wanting to just share and blur out. But at the same time, I have been called to just truly be in my feelings, right? And if you know, right? Like sometimes you just want to let it all out, but you're just called to sit in silence and process everything, even if you have to do it over and over and over again. Because at the end of the day, for those of you who have been on your healing journey for a while now, you know that there's bumps down the road, right? And so I happen to be in that bump at this moment. And it's nothing that could be currently going on presently at the current moment. It's more so just resurfacing traumas, resurfacing pains and heartaches that I haven't been able to process for one reason or another. And it's mainly been, to not beat around the bush. It's mainly been my survival instinct. When I get into survival mode, I tend to not feel how I'm supposed to feel. And so when that happens, everything I didn't get to feel or process shows up at once. So I have had to reel myself back in and be like, okay, what's going on here? What's truly bothering me? And so there's been a lot of changes in my life personally, and it has just gotten me in a sensitive mood, in a sensitive state of mind, in a sensitive manner where I just want to go into hermit mode, right? And it's no longer because I want to isolate, but more so because I feel this need to protect myself even more. And again, that could be a survival tactic, a defense mechanism, which ends up leaving me to self-isolation. However, it came back stronger to the point where I had to just let it out. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that everything's been rainbows, because it hasn't. I've been very emotional since the beginning of this month. Many people will say it's Mercury retrograde. It's just the seasons that are changing, and it that has to do with it. I'm a believer in that, but I also know when to take full accountability when I don't process my emotions or feelings when I should, right? And so, to share the good news and what has actually kickstarted me to want to dig deeper again in my self-discovery has been my grandmother's arrival and my first niece, a first-time aunt officially, birth arrival this past week. And so there's been a lot of emotions, beautiful emotions, but still emotions full of deep sentiment. And this time is different because what I want to talk to you about before I proceed is I want to start by talking about the topic of generational healing. I have talked about this topic before, and it's not the first or last time I will talk about this, but this time it feels too close to home for me not to share what has been going on and what has helped me and what realizations I've come across. And so let's get started, right? My grandmother came almost 2 weeks ago, and that kind of kick-started the sensitivity even between me and my mother to await my grandmother's arrival, because this time's different. So I'm 29 years old, but I'm already considering myself a 30-year-old. My mom just turned 50 years old this July, and my grandmother's going to be 70 in November. And so when me and my mom were talking recently, we realized that these are big eras of our life, big life stages that are changing us into the next level of women that we are, right? and that we are meant to be. And with that being said, my grandma came, and I never thought I would be able to talk to my grandma about deep personal matters, and because her health hasn't been the best, we have all tried to shelter her from our own personal truths, our own personal traumas and pains, because that's our queen. Like, she is the matriarch. She is a woman that I admire so much, and I want to be able to tell her that while she's here. But what really opened up my heart, and what actually shocked me, was how safe I felt in being able to break down in front of her. And what I mean by that is that I had the opportunity, and I also felt pulled to just let the truth out, because the thing about me is that even if something happens to me, even if it's true, I'm not gonna go and publicize it, right? I'm not gonna go and say it out for the whole world to see or to hear, at least not in the moment when it's happening. And so I was finally, because there's a lot of family who likes to come over and visit her and spend quality time as a family, I had to confess something that happened to me years ago as a child that another family member did to me. And it felt so terrifying, because my grandma loves this person. And she loves this person because this person has been a person who has been able to love a particular family member for the way they are. And it's one of her children. So for her, she admires this person because of the way this person has been able to live life with one of her children. And so I had this fear that if I opened up, even my mom had a fear, and we talked about this, and she was like, look, if your grandma's coming, and, we already know how to proceed. However, if you feel called to tell her the truth, I will have your back. I will support you, and I'm ready to lose my family for me, for you. That's what she was telling me. And it's a hard thing as the person who lived through that experience to see your loved ones having to pick a side, right? Because I'm not about that again. Like, when things happen to me, I don't expect people to pick a side. I just expect, even though we shouldn't expect, I just expect to be respected, or at least be left alone. If they may have doubts, I expect for my space to at least be respected, right? And so, in hearing my mom share her fear that, not fear, but share that she was willing to show up for me this time, made it 10 times better, made me feel more safe. And which is why I ended up and proceeded to tell my grandmother the truth of what had happened to me between this family member and myself. And I just couldn't hold it anymore. I broke down. I had to tell her what happened. And I told her that, like, my intention was never to bring more separation in my family. And I know that's out of my control, but I had to tell her because she is one of the few people that I really respect. And I know that if she has something to say, she'll say it. And so, in fear of having to lose the love for my grandmother, I became surprised, not because I doubted her love, but because I know a mother's love. I know that a mother's love is going to go straight to her children. So the last thing I was expecting was her to believe me or support me, because this has something to do with her own child. So, and when I say child, she's a grown-ass woman. It's just I'm talking in a parent point of view. And so when I told her this, and she told me to just let it out, that, that the only way to heal is to just let it out, and it doesn't matter who says what or what happens. And the fact that she stood up and hugged me and nurtured me in a time where, in a moment of weakness where I just couldn't be that strong granddaughter or strong daughter, because both my grandmother and my mom were present. This was a woman to woman talk. It opened up my heart more. It gave me an indescribable strength that till this day I'm still processing. And then I got to tell her my own personal situation with my own, my own family, like my children and the father of my kids, and what was really going on. And so it was a lot of truths that she had no idea. And she showed up. She showed up. Like, she didn't question me. If anything, she uplifted me. She said that that sometimes women have to do what they gotta do. And it was just a different side of her that I'm so honored to be able to witness today, right now. And so I feel like there's gonna be more conversations like this happening while she's staying here with us. And I'm looking forward to it. I know more tears are gonna come, maybe more moments of sadness may arise, but I know that in the end, it's gonna benefit all of us. And I say that because from just having these two conversations within a week, not even a week, like in days of her arrival happening, we have already healed so much. I have been able to learn about my grandmother's upbringing, how her life as a woman has been, and how it started and where she is now. And so has my mom. And because I'm a person that is curious about her family, and ever since I started my healing journey, one of my main goals has been to find out more about my women lineage. If you know about generational healing, you know that generational trauma can pass down generation to generation. Even if it skips a generation, it continues to pass on until it reaches the person that is meant to break those traumas. And in this case, I consider myself that woman. And so one thing I have learned from my grandma so far has been that I don't want to wait until I'm her age to finally let go. I realize that I'm in a time right now where I'm able to feel what I feel, and I should not be resisting those emotions, because these emotions are wanting to be let out, are wanting to be released. I want to break free from all these chains. I want to no longer be in pain. And when I say in pain, I don't mean just physical, because my physical health has also taken a toll, but that's another story. I'm talking about emotional pain, heart pain, heartaches that I never expected to experience, but I am. And the lesson I have constantly been reminded of is to love myself, to truly love myself, to truly be okay with who I am, no matter what I've been called in the past, no matter what I'm being called today, no matter how defeated I may feel at the moment. To love myself, to lean onto myself, to realize that I am made for this, that I am meant to overcome whatever I'm going through at the moment, even when I can't see it. Because right now, I won't lie to you, I don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. I've been struggling a lot. And so being able to have these conversations has helped me open up. And then came my niece's arrival. And my family laughs at me because I'm not a girl's girl, in the sense that, like, I always prayed to have boys. I thank God every day I had boys. And it's not until my niece was born that I realized that my fear of having a girl was, if I ever had a girl, was me not wanting her to experience anything that I had to live through as a woman. Or anything that the woman in my life had to experience as a woman. My fear was not that I wouldn't love a girl or be able to care or nurture a girl, but more so of, you don't deserve to live in a world where women go through X, Y, and Z. Or you don't deserve to carry on my traumas because I'm not done healing yet. And so, not that it doesn't affect my boys, I'm doing the work because of them. But as a woman to woman, I just could not connect with girls. I just couldn't. I blocked myself from it, because I'm like, I would always say, I could barely handle myself. Imagine me with a girl. And so, and then she was born, and I was like, wow, like, I've been kind of seeing myself as a burden as a woman, and here I am trying to remind women that they're worthy, that they're lovable, that they're enough, that there's nothing wrong with them. And here I was putting myself to be less than, right? And then I saw her basically within the few hours of her being born, and my heart just melted, and just looking at her gave me this sense of hope that that what I'm doing is correct. The way I'm trying to heal, the way I'm trying to move on with life and move forward, not necessarily move on, but move forward in life, is to just break free from the shackles, from the chains, from any curses, anything that's holding me back, right, from my true potential. Because now I have a little girl that's part of my lineage, that I need to make sure that she is raised with the confidence, with the capability, with the strength, with the intelligence that I know she has, right? And so I basically have been focusing a lot on my wounded feminine energy side. I feel like the past year and a half, I've been focusing a lot on my wounded masculine, and it's something I'm still healing too, but I have done a lot of work with my wounded masculine side, that I am just realizing that, hey, as much as I don't want to think that my feminine energy is wounded, it is. And I need to cater to that at this moment. And so that's why I have been allowing myself to feel sensitive, to be in my moods, to be in my feelings, because that's the only way out is through. And so to not keep on dragging the subject, in other words, I want to remind you that if you are on your healing journey as a woman, and if you have the ability to talk to your grandma, to talk to any woman in your life that's important to you, and it will help, and that it will help with your healing journey, I recommend you to do that, because it's in those lineages, it's in those life experiences of those women that are around you and that you come from, that you will learn what patterns have been passed down onto you, what thinking patterns, what behaviors, what belief systems, whether true or false, have down the line come to you and affected you, again, whether good or bad. Because again, if you believe in generational trauma, you will understand that in doing more self-discovery through the women in your lineage, you will find healing. It may not be pretty to find out the stuff that you find out. It may not be fun to hear, right? But it's through those darkness pathways that we're able to bring in the light that we have already started to create, right? We have always been the light, so don't get me wrong in that, but create a new light, right? A new light where it's not only used to navigate through darkness, but navigate through the life path that we are currently on. And with that being said, I want to say thank you again to my true supporters, my followers, not even followers, I don't like using that word at all, but just my supporters, right? Thank you so much for listening, to the women, to the men, anyone who listens to my videos. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. These videos are hard to make because I want to say so much and I want to sound all proper and dandy, but I have come to realize time and time and again that the only way I can proceed with this movement is by showing up as my authentic self, by speaking what I truly feel like speaking about. And I hope this brings you even the slightest dose of encouragement to keep self-discovering, right? That's like my theme right now for this half of the year. My theme is self-discovery. Like, what does Wanda want? What do I want? Like, if I want to elevate, what is it going to take for me to do that? Like, what do I have to let go of still that I have been resisting and letting go of? And I already know. It's just doing it, and that's the hard part, taking that first step. And I will get there. I am getting there. I'm not fully there yet, but I'm getting there. And that's the only thing I want to leave you with, that as long as you keep taking those baby steps, no matter how small, no matter how non-drastic it may feel like you are changing, there's change going. And you can tell by the way you react, by the way you respond, by the way you feel, by the way you think prior to making any decisions. Because at the end of the day, it's our life. People will stay judging you no matter if you make the right or wrong decision. And so with that being said, I love you. Stay tuned for more videos. When they come, they will come. But for the time being, as always, if you would love to share your story in my platform, I would love and be honored to share your story. You can go to my Linktree. It's in my bio. So hit that tab button and it will lead you straight to the story submission, to my YouTube channel, to so ways to donate. I don't necessarily ask for monetary donations, but the reason I do this is because I do want to start giving back to organizations that dedicate their time to help women in any situation, right? And I do want to eventually start creating my photo book of women and their stories. So that's gonna take money, and I thankfully ask for these donations. It doesn't matter how big or how small they are. Everything is welcomed, and I truly, truly appreciate it. And then you can also find on my Linktree all the links to my collaborations. And my collaborations have been with wonderful, wonderful women that I recommend. So if you take the time to scroll down my Linktree and listen to any of those links, I encourage you to also go and support those women as well. I love you, and stay tuned for more.